this movie is both a triumph and a failure for Philippine movies. Let me explain. Action as a genre in movies in the Philippines is effectively dead. The last great action hero, action star that we had, his name is Fernando Poe Jr. When he passed, I think he took the action genre with him, because there hasn't been a lot of good action movies ever since he passed. There's a few, but there's not a lot. And so when I learned that there's this Maria, and the lead star is a female nonetheless, Christine Reyes, I was really pleasantly surprised, and I was really very curious. Let's go to the good parts first. Number one, the decision to use a female character, a female lead star, I think is a very healthy one. I honestly do not think there's any great female action star in the Philippines. I wouldn't still consider Christine Reyes, even after this movie, a great action star, but she played it well. She was very convincing in her action scenes, and that is a credit to the actress, to the director, and to the editor. But the action scenes, it didn't feel like she was pushing it. It didn't feel artificial. It felt very, very natural. The action sequences were very fast. It was very snappy. You could feel her power as she's playing the character of an assassin. So you could feel her power. You could feel and see the mastery of her craft. Surprisingly too, she was able to act.
Kailangan natin umalis. Hello? Hindi sila kasali dito!
Not a lot of action films out there would actually give their actors and actresses a chance to display their acting ability, but in here she was able to do it, and I think it's a credit to her eyes. Her eyes are very expressive, and so she was able to communicate a lot of her emotions just with the sheer movement of her eyes or with her look, and that again is a credit both to the actress and to the director and the editor. In terms of the narrative, this one has more story than another action film that I just watched with a female character as well as the lead, and also produced by the same production company. The title of that movie is By Bus. That's another review. But this has more story than By Bus. And also the action scenes are also faster.
For a dead person, you look hot.
Sa pagigante, may magandang mangyayari pa ba sa buhay ko?
So you don't feel like they're counting. You don't see the choreography. You feel like it's a little bit more natural. So that's good, that they were able to still communicate more story than what you would expect of a traditional Filipino action film. That being said, the narrative itself is not very unique. It reminded me too much of Kill Bill. The story is about an assassin, which is Christine Reyes, and she quit that life, and she got married and has a kid, and she wanted to live this life now, but she's getting pulled back into the assassin life. It could have used a fresher premise than an assassin getting pulled back into the assassin life. Next is the action sequences itself. There's nothing unique about it. It's unique in the Philippines. Let me explain. The choreography itself is very clean. It's very quick, so quick that you do not see the count, the choreography. That's fresh from the perspective of the Filipinos, but not from an international perspective. If you go back to action movies, Asian action movies that made waves in Hollywood, they always have something unique to offer. The Raid, for example, starring Iko Uwais, everybody knows that I'm a big fan of the guy. The Raid made it so big because they offered something new in terms of action sequences. The same thing with Crouching Tiger. The treatment of the action sequences, it was unique for Hollywood. Here, it's unique for the Filipinos because we haven't done anything as fluid and as quick and as clean as the action sequences in this movie. but it's not unique from a Hollywood perspective. The fighting style, the choreography, and the camera movement, it has, all of those things. We've seen that in Hollywood. I felt like we could have done better. We could have used our own martial arts, Arnis, the fighting style. We could have used that in this movie and offer something that has not been seen before in not even in Hollywood, because that's our own. So I wish we could have offered that, something uniquely Filipino in this. And I think that would have changed the flavor, the color of the entire movie. Next, Christine's acting. I think she has the eyes for heavy drama scenes. And she had that opportunity here, and I think she did it to the best that she could. But I felt like the director didn't give her the moment to mourn the loss that she experienced in the movie. Just like Kill Bill, she lost her husband and her kid, and it happened during the movie. The loss happened during the movie, and I did not see the stages of grief. I did not see the depth of her pain. Her husband and her kid were killed right in front of her. I did not feel the depth of her grief. And I think that's more the director rather than Christine. I think if she was given the moment, if she was given the opportunity to portray that pain, I think her comeback, her decision to go back and kill everybody would have been more, I would have been more empathetic. Next is her final confrontation with the main antagonist. I just felt it was anticlimactic. They built up to it so long, and then when it happened, it was over in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I felt like they could have dragged it more. If there's any scene in the movie that could have used a bit more choreography, a bit more fighting, I guess it would be that scene, her final confrontation with the main antagonist. But it just didn't happen that way. It was, all in all, is it a good movie? I'd still say yes. For the Filipinos, I would still want more and more Filipinos to support movies like this, because we really do need to move forward. And this is a step forward. This movie is a step forward, and it's a very, very good sign. I do not think that we should expect it to compete on an international level. This is not the movie that will do it, but it is a step towards the right direction. Support, if we can make and support more movies like this, we would move forward. We would get there. We would get to the level where we can really compete, use our locally made or locally produced movies and make it compete in the international arena. So yeah, it's still a good movie from a local perspective, local meaning the Philippines. Step towards the right direction, and I hope that you guys support it.